259. Lovely. There. So now this will fit in there nice and tight. Now this particular bit is a pretty thin one. The cool thing with it is it's the exact same diameter as the thickness of those black, white, black purflings, so it's really nice to work with. So let's just gently coax this guy there. I'm going to use the newer hole. There we are. Now it's in there. What you want to do is make sure that your work is clamped. You don't want it moving around on you. Thank you. I usually put a collar, but I don't really care too much because it's not on the actual guitar. So, what I'll do is I've got a new bit. It's an 1/8 inch diameter bit, but we'll just use this one for now. It's quite nice. Does the trick. I'm gonna lower this so it's just hovering barely above the wood. Loosen off this wing nut here. I've made a few jigs like this over the years. I used to have one that had a thumb adjuster, and it was actually inaccurate. So what I do instead is I just use this one and I move it to the appropriate spot. So that's the inside of my sound hole. And if I look at the plans here, this Gibson style, it has a pretty wide space where there's nothing there. I'm going to try to replicate that. I'll have a black, white, black. I'll have a little piece of abalone and a black, white, black. So it'll be a little bit of different rosette, but it's 461. I'm going to make it a little smaller. I'll go for, say, 429 for the old Ford engines. Hit the 429s and hit the 428s. So right there. And what I'll do is also dig up my radius abalone here. I'm going to figure out the exact size of channel that I'll need to make it so this fits. The width is, that's incorrect. That's no wonder that's not 400 and something like that. It's just over a 1/4 inch. These had to be zeroed out. So and these calipers are screwed. Those ones are junk. I'm gonna take this big set. I need to get some more calipers, I think. Okay, so 63. That makes more sense. 63 thou. And this 49 is 50. So 50 times 2 and 63 is 163. So I want to make a channel that's 163 thousandths of an inch wide. And that should, in theory, be the right size for this. So the next thing is depth. Depth of this is 58 thou. And ideally you want to put your rosette in so it's half the thickness of your top, which is going to be roughly 115. So 60 thou, 58 thou, this is actually ideal. So what I'll do is I'll lower this bit to the exact start of my rosette. I'll tighten the radius here so it's nice and tight. And then I'm going to lower the bit so it's touching the actual top. And then I'll take my calipers, set them to 62.5, 63 thousandths of an inch, right there. And then I'm going to set it up so there's that much space in between my depth guide. And what you can also do is you can take the actual piece of material that you'll be putting in, just have that as your little spacer. And Then take it out. So now when I turn it on and I lower it, it'll plunge to the exact depth of that particular piece of abalone. The purfling is taller than the abalone, so some of the purfling will be protruding and the abalone will be flush. So start off by turning it on, and you gotta go super slow. Just to make sure that I'm at the right depth, I'll put my vernier in there. 46, 45. That's all right. It's gonna be close. So let me press a little harder. That's the big trick, is not going fast. I usually like to raise my rudder before I take the depth out, but I'm just leaving it in place here. What I'll do next is turn it back on, I'll loosen this off, and I'll move it over outside just a little bit. And then I'll enlarge this passageway. I'm going to have to do probably 3 to 4 passes to get the overall diameter, or the thickness of the rosette that I want. So back in business here we go. Okay, so now with this pass, what I did is I left it running. I went back and forth a little bit underneath where the fingerboard will be sitting over top. Now, raise this up. And this is tight, you don't want to force it out, just carefully, slowly rock it out, pull it out, because you don't want to break the little jig. We'll measure this. See where we're at. It's 145, 143. 143. So I know that I'll do one pass all the way around, and then I'll go out about 15 thousandths of an inch, 20 thousandths of an inch, and then it should be just perfect. Does that make sense? I'll raise it up here. It looks like I went a little far. Yeah, that's fine if I did. 177. Okay, so it's a little far. So what I'll do is I'll back it off a little. And so this guy. That looks pretty close. It actually looks quite lovely. $155, eh? I'm gonna go around one pass. Just see how it turns out. Time, pull it out. If you take note, I went really slow that last pass because it's the outside of this radius. 145. 149. I'm curious. Let's see. And what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of sandpaper. Just don't want to tangle myself. This guy there.
So $25 more you said for?
Yeah, $25 if you want the abalone. I normally don't even give people the option, to be honest. But if you're interested.
Yeah, I gotta try putting something fancy on it.
I'll just take a little piece here. I just want to see. And I don't need, James, I don't even know if I have enough for more than one rosette, so I'll have to even look at that. And it looks close, but I still don't think I have quite enough space. So I'm going to have to add another 10 or 12 thousandths of an inch into this. This is the kind of thing you don't want to just haphazardly go large, go big or go home, because you're going to have an ugly rosette. So again, I'll move it over here, and maybe I'll even mark out where this is sitting now. If I can just give it a little gentle knock. One more time, let's see what happens here. And it looks pretty good actually. I think it's perfect. Okay, so there's that piece there. And we go like this and slow around.